The first thing Keenan Holt noticed when he regained consciousness was the smell. Not smoke, not coolant, not even the metallic tang of blood he'd grown far too familiar with over the past 7 years of service, but something floral. Alien floral, if flowers had armpits, he groaned. His body was slumped against the inner wall of the escape pod, helmet visor cracked, HUD flickering with a looped red warning. Oxygen low, oxygen low. Congratulations on survival, oxygen low. He slapped the control panel. Shut up, Brenda. The pod, named after the base's passive-aggressive AI secretary, made a half-hearted hissing sound as the outer hatch wheezed open. Light poured in, pale lavender and softly pulsing like bioluminescent jellyfish having a slow rave. Keenan squinted. The ship he'd boarded, more like crashed into, was nothing like Earthfleet. No sharp angles, no gunmetal plating. Just curved, organic walls that seemed to breathe when he blinked too long. Okay, definitely not one of ours, he muttered. A low hum rose under his boots. The floor shifted slightly, as if the ship had just noticed him and wasn't entirely sure whether it was pleased. He limped forward, cradling his side, ribs likely cracked. His boots made a soft splitch noise on the semi-gelatinous floor. This is fine, he said to no one, as soldiers often did when trying not to pass out. You've just boarded a foreign vessel without permission during active wartime. Perfectly reasonable. Happens to everyone. Who hasn't done a little light trespassing to avoid being vaporized. He touched the wall. It was warm and moist. The kind of moist that made him wipe his hand on his pants 3 times and consider just amputating the palm. Then the ship whispered, not with sound, not even in words, just presence. Like a brush against his thoughts. A polite but firm, you shouldn't be here, but okay, we'll play along. The air thickened, pressure shifting as something in the corridor ahead moved, or appeared. Twin silhouettes emerged from the lavender haze. Tall, lithe, and absolutely symmetrical. Their skin shimmered in hues of rose gold and ocean green, as if indecisive about which alien magazine cover to grace. Their eyes were oversized, pupils dilated too wide, and when one of them smiled, Keenan thought he saw his own reflection in a canine. Oh, he said intelligently, great twins. They stopped a few feet away, staring in unison. One of them tilted her head. The other blinked once very slowly. No weapons, no visible tech. Just translucent robes that fluttered in the ship's ambient airflow like they were posing for a wind machine. Keenan cleared his throat and attempted diplomacy. Hi, hello, sorry about the crash landing. Big fight, lots of lasers. I may have singed your hull a little. Totally my bad. If there's an interstellar Yelp, I'll give you 5 stars and leave immediately. The twin on the left frowned. What is Yelp? Stars as in a rating system. The one on the right stepped forward, voice low and strangely melodic. You rate us 5 stars upon entrance. No, I mean not you asterisk specifically. I meant aw crap. They exchanged a look. In perfect silence, Keenan's tactical brain fired off every red flag it had in storage. Synchronized glances, matching emotional field presence, shared neural resonance, twin telepaths. Oh no, he whispered. I am Lyra, said the one on the left. I'm Vena, said the one on the right, grinning, and you are not supposed to be here. I gathered, he replied. I'll just turn around, let myself out. You have a great, biomechanical temple vibe here. Love what you've done with the walls, very womb-like. You cannot leave, Lyra said calmly. The bloom has begun. Vena gave him a look like a cat, watching a goldfish figure out the concept of gravity. You really didn't read the signs, did you? Keenan looked back at the corridor, now subtly glowing red along the walls. Glyphs pulsed like veins. He tapped his comlink. Static. The escape pod was fried, of course. Okay, bloom. I feel like that's either a lovely seasonal floral event, or some kind of horrific alien puberty. Neither, said Lyra. Worse, said Vena, sounding entirely too delighted. The ship's AI finally pinged his neural interface, offering a short text dump, translated in a janky, overly literal script. Notice, Zyron bloom phase initiated. Environmental quarantine enforced. Crew biochemistry at peak instability. External organic entities will be affected. He read it twice. Did that just say I'll be affected? Yes, said Lyra. We glow, added Vena, wiggling her fingers. She did, in fact, begin to glow faintly like a sentient lava lamp. Keenan sat down hard on what he hoped was a bench and not a living appendage. Okay, deep breaths, let's assess. Number 1, I'm stuck in a sentient ship with psychic alien twins going through some kind of hormonal hyperspace event. 2, I have no backup, no weapons, and no pants change. 3. The ship likes mood lighting and keeps fogging up my visor. You should remove it, Lyra said. Oh, sure, let me just disrobe in front of 2 strangers on an alien sex yacht. Vena chuckled. Technically, it's a medical isolation vessel, but yes, it does have enhancements. Great space hot tub optional. She winked. Keenan buried his face in his hands. I fought pirates. I survived radiation storms. I once ate half a boot to win a bet. And this is how I die. Emotionally compromised by glowing twins on a ship that smells like a love potion exploded in a botanical garden. Lyra stepped forward and, to his surprise, crouched to meet his eye level. Her voice was softer now. You will not die, human, but you will adjust. The bloom is unavoidable. It is a neurological tide. It cannot be resisted. That's never a comforting sentence. You'll get used to it, Vena said brightly. And hey, you're already glowing a bit. That's cute. He looked at his arms. She was right. A faint shimmer traced his skin, reacting to their proximity. His heartbeat stuttered. Okay, ground rules, he said, standing abruptly. No touching, no mind reading, no weird dream invasions. I want a quarantine zone, 50 meters minimum, no exceptions. Vena raised a brow. You realize this entire ship is like 30 meters. Then I want a safe pillow fort. I'll build one. You have 2 broken ribs. I'll build it with my asterisk soul. The sisters exchanged another silent look. You are. Amusing, Lyra said. And edible, Vena added, licking her teeth. He paled. Metaphorically, she amended, laughing, mostly. Keenan sighed, already regretting every life choice that brought him here. He looked around the softly glowing corridor, then back at the aliens who now seemed more curious than threatening. Right. I'll just go find a corner to emotionally collapse in. Let me know when the space fever passes. Or when you decide to eat me. Just give me a 5-minute head start, yeah. Vena beamed, deal. And so it began. Keenan woke up to the sound of humming. Not mechanical humming, though the ship was always doing that too, in a low ambient kind of way, like a whale snoring in slow motion. But cheerful, upbeat humming. With syncopation and occasional beatboxing. He opened one eye. Vena was hanging upside down from the ceiling, or what he had assumed was the ceiling. Gravity was being playful again. Her robes flowed around her like underwater curtains as she hummed a vaguely familiar Earth tune. Something ancient, possibly Britney Spears. Are you floating? He asked hoarsely. She grinned upside down. Technically, I'm lounging. The ship is experimenting with gravitational pulses. Very stimulating. Also, you snore in tritones. That's rare in humans. I wasn't snoring. Oh, absolutely you were. I recorded it. Delete it. Never. He sat up slowly, grimacing as his ribs made it very clear they were still annoyed about yesterday. The little pillow fort he'd built, more of a pillow barricade, really, was partially collapsed. The ship seemed to have melted one corner in its sleep. There were glowing tendrils creeping into his zone again. They had this suspicious, sentient look about them. He waved one away. It pouted. Lyra entered silently through a membrane door that squelched just a little too enthusiastically. She held a tray with steaming mugs, steam on an alien ship. Why did aliens always rediscover tea? Hydration, she said, holding one out. Keenan eyed it warily. Does it contain any known mutagens, pheromonal accelerants, or unlicensed aphrodisiacs? It contains berryroot. Is that one of those things that sounds innocent, but makes your eyeballs sing opera? It's mildly calming, and it may cause lucid daydreams. Wonderful, that's exactly what I need. Hallucinations to go with my existential anxiety. He took the mug anyway. Vena drifted down to the floor, flipping midair with annoying grace and landing in a squat beside him. So, we had a sibling discussion last night, and we've decided to be helpful. Terrifying. She ignored him. Since you're clearly confused by our physiology, our culture, our very presence, and because your emotional resistance is frankly adorable, we're going to conduct an educational program. I'm not enrolling in alien boot camp. Oh, you already did, Lyra said, sipping her own mug. When you stepped onto the ship during the bloom, that's an implied contract. I was bleeding and unconscious. Vena nodded solemnly. We took that into account. You're signed up for the beginner's package. Keenan looked up, narrowing his eyes. You're messing with me. We are, Lyra admitted, but also not. The ship chose that moment to emit a chime. A soft trill, followed by the deployment of what looked like a floating orb covered in blinking lights and tiny antennae. It hovered in front of Keenan's face, and projected a glowing word across his vision. Introduction to Tyrell Biological CYCLES. Interactive mode initiated. Oh, come on. The orb beeped cheerfully. A series of holograms burst into view. Diagrams of alien anatomy, molecular structures shifting through phases, and one extremely unnecessary animation of two Tyrell bodies glowing and vibrating like sentient disco balls. Make it stop, Keenan begged. You must complete the tutorial, Lyra said, deadpan. Vena tapped the orb. It projected a pop quiz, multiple choice. One of the questions was, what is the appropriate reaction to a Tyrell during Phase 3 of the bloom? A. Panic. B. Cry quietly. C. Surrender to the rhythm. D. Build a pillow fort and pretend none of this is real. Keenan selected D. The orb beeped approvingly. Correct, Lyra said. I hate all of you. Mutual affection, Vena chirped. Now let's talk side effects. I really don't want to. Too bad, so. As we enter day 2 of the bloom, you might start experiencing mild telepathic feedback. That means shared thoughts, shared dreams, shared bodily. I'm leaving. You can't. I'm hiding in the storage bay. Already glowing, too late. Keenan chugged the barroot drink. It tasted like sweet dirt and regret. Lyra knelt beside him, serious now. You need to understand, Keenan, the bloom doesn't just affect us. It's a neural resonance phenomenon. Your presence, your emotional waves, they echo. We feel you. Vena leaned in, eyes sparkling. We asterisk really feel you. Stop saying things like that. She smirked. You're thinking about kissing me again. I am not. You were for a second. Keenan scrambled to his feet. Right, okay, emergency soldier protocol. I am initiating mental compartmentalization. Tactical suppression, walling off all emotions. I'm a stone. I'm a fortress. I'm a deeply traumatized brick with arms. The orb beeped again. Emotional stabilization. 12% successful. Vena clapped. Oh, that's actually better than most. Lyra nodded. You're adjusting well. Your sarcasm levels are spiking, which means you're stabilizing. I hate how this all makes sense to you. You'll come around, Vena said, grinning. Everyone does. The ship let out a groaning sound. The walls shimmered. Gravity rippled like a sneeze. Keenan stumbled. What now? Lyra stood abruptly. Phase shift. The ship is sinking to us more deeply. Our biometrics are now primary input. In English, the ship thinks we're in a courtship loop. Vena's grin turned dangerous. It's probably going to redecorate. Keenan pointed accusingly at the ceiling. Ship no, bad ship. The corridor behind him shifted color. Pink, soft, glowing pink. Rose petals, asterisk actual petals, asterisk, began to drift from the ceiling. Smooth jazz started playing. He turned in a circle, arms out. Are you serious, space jazz? The ship dimmed the lights. A heart symbol pulsed faintly on one wall. I'm gonna throw myself into the food recycler, he muttered. Vena gently took his arm. Or you could just relax. We've got 7 days to kill. Might as well enjoy the ride. He stared at her, then at Lyra, who was now inspecting a wall that had transformed into a faintly pulsing couch. Then back at the ceiling, where a hologram of a romantic sunset over twin moons shimmered into view. Keenan exhaled slowly. I survived a war to be trapped in a sentient matchmaking simulator with 2 telepathic alien sisters. Sounds like destiny, Vena said. Sounds like a fever dream, Keenan muttered, then paused. Wait. Are fever dreams contagious in the ship? Lyra handed him another mug. Only if you share. He stared at it. I don't know what that means. Exactly, Vena said. The orb beeped again. Lesson complete. Phase 2 initiating. Please remove clothing for optimal comfort. Keenan threw his mug at the orb. It dodged, and the ship laughed. Keenan found a spoon in his boot. Not inside the boot where his foot went, but tucked into the outer seam like it had grown there overnight. It was smooth, slightly bioluminescent, and made of a material that felt like crossbred coral and silicone. He didn't remember packing it. He held it up. Why is there a spoon in my boot? Vena, upside down again and currently using the ceiling as a hammock, peeked down at him. The ship's gifting system is intuitive. It sensed your desire for control. Spoons are a symbol of moderation. I wanted a gun, he said. It thought you meant a metaphorical gun. It's a asterisk spoon asterisk. Think of it as a weapon against emotional chaos. I'll stab something with it, see if that helps. Lyra, who was seated cross-legged in what now passed as the ship's communal space, some kind of mossy arena ringed with softly glowing fungal trees, did not look up from her data slate. The ship responds to need, not want, And your needs are confusing, they fluctuate hourly. They're not confusing, Keenan protested. I need solitude, quiet, and a full med kit with extra sedatives. Maybe a punching bag shaped like yesterday. You're dreaming about us again? Vena said casually. Keenan choked on his recycled air. No, I'm not. R2. Laura didn't even blink. I witnessed 3 seconds of the last dream. I was wearing feathers. Why? I don't control dream logic, he snapped. Was I the one covered in honey? Vena asked. He stood up so fast the moss squeaked. We are not talking about this. Vena dropped from the ceiling, landing in a crouch like a smug jungle cat. We are very in sync right now. It's adorable. The ship thinks we're a trio bond. I don't even know what that means. It means if you glow any harder, we'll have to rename the ship to the Radiant Keenan. I hate all of this. That's your mating denial phase talking, she replied sweetly. I'm not an asterisk a mating phase. You're adjacent, Laura murmured. Okay, time out. He raised his hands. There needs to be a limit on how many times the phrase asterisk mating phase can be used in one conversation. I suggest 0. Maximum 1 if it's in a life or death context, and definitely never while I'm holding a spoon. The ship flickered the lights. Keenan swore it was stifling a laugh. He walked away, or tried to. The ship didn't really have doors so much as squishy membranes that opened based on emotional intent. And right now, he was broadcasting something between frustration and existential dread, which apparently translated to, please loop me back to the same room 3 times in a row. Let me out, he growled at the wall. The wall emitted a pleasant tone. Vena popped her head through the membrane like she was checking in on a particularly melodramatic pet. Are you lost in your own feelings again? I swear if this ship plays one more romantic melody while I'm trying to breathe, I'm going to. A harp trill began overhead. He turned to face her, defeated. Why does this place hate me? It doesn't. It just doesn't know what to do with you yet. That makes 2 of us. Come back, we've got snacks. No offense, but your idea of snacks includes sentient fungi. They sing lullabies when you bite them. That's worse. She pulled him gently by the sleeve until the ship stopped looping him in circles. The communal space had once again changed. This time it looked suspiciously like a romantic glade, glittering plants, faint mist, and a temperature that was suspiciously perfect for cuddling. Keenan muttered something unprintable and sat beside Laura, who passed him a translucent cube. He sniffed it. Is it going to make me hallucinate again? Not unless you think too hard about your mother. He dropped it immediately. Laura folded her hands. We've been thinking you're emotionally unstable. Thanks for that. So we decided to introduce structured interaction. Games, rituals. Team-building exercises. Vena clapped her hands. Yes. Let's start with emotional charades. That sounds like the worst party game, invented by the worst people in the worst timeline. We'll go first, Laura said, standing up. I will project an emotion, you guess it. Keenan blinked. Wait, project like. A wave of feeling slammed into him like a warm tide. Longing, deep melancholic nostalgia. The ache of missing something he'd never touched. For a moment he saw a vast crystalline ocean, moons colliding softly in the sky, and 2 children chasing the wind with ribbons in their hair. He gasped, was it indigestion? Lyra frowned. Okay, fine, homesickness for a planet you left or someone you lost. She nodded once. Acceptable, your turn. I'm not projecting anything. I don't even know how. You already are. Constantly. It's why the ship keeps trying to spoon you. It did asterisk not asterisk try to spoon me. Check your blanket. He did. It had grown a little arm. I'm living in a nightmare. Your turn, Lyra said calmly. Keenan took a breath, focused, tried to think of something simple. He thought about a summer on Mars Outpost Beta when he was 15, eating ice pops made from rehydrated fruit with his brother. Vena's eyes softened. Joy. With a sharp edge, like you didn't know it wouldn't last. He blinked, yeah. She reached out, brushing his hand with hers, just for a second. That's a good memory. The moment stretched. Then the ship deployed the shower attacked him. It wasn't entirely unprovoked. Keenan had stomped in, muttering death threats to the ship under his breath, after the 12th failed attempt to make coffee using what turned out to be a memory reconstruction dispenser. He had wanted caffeine. The ship had recreated the smell of his grandmother's old kitchen instead, including her. Dee said she was disappointed in his posture. He was not emotionally prepared for that kind of morning. So he headed to the hygiene chamber, muttering something about, at least water can't be weaponized. which, in hindsight, was incredibly optimistic. Because the moment he activated the cleansing module, a translucent jelly-like stream wrapped itself around his ankle, lifted him 3 inches off the ground, and hummed what might have been Ave Maria. "Unhand me, you slippery tube of lies," he yelled, flailing. Vena's voice chirped through the calm grid, far too cheerful. "Ah, you found the purification coil. Be gentle, it's ticklish." "I swear to all 9 gods of Orion's belt." The coil vibrated in what might have been laughter. It then dispensed something warm, fizzy, and citrus-scented onto his face. He emerged 10 minutes later with gleaming skin, hair styled in elegant swirls, and an overwhelming scent of what he assumed was alien lemongrass. He looked like a spa model in distress. Keenan stomped barefoot into the common chamber. Lyra looked up from her data console, arched one brow, and said, "You've been enhanced. I've been assaulted by sentient soap." "You're radiant," Vena said, walking past and sniffing him dramatically. "Like a dessert. I'm issuing a formal complaint to the Interstellar Hygiene Council." "There is no such council," Lyra said without looking up. "There asterisk should asterisk be." He collapsed onto the mossy couch thing and accepted the protein cube Vena offered with all the enthusiasm of a soldier being handed a live grenade. It jiggled. The bloom had entered its 3rd day, and the ship, in its infinite mischief, had decided to begin what Vena called asterisk, atmospheric flirtation. Which meant every room was now a pastel gradient, every bench vibrated subtly like a purring cat, and certain doorways played music when you passed through them. Keenan's least favorite was the one that played a harp trill and whispered asterisk connection detected in 3-part harmony. He glared at the ceiling. "I'm not connecting with anyone asterisk, thank you." The ceiling responded by dimming the lights to romantic Starfield mode. Lyra tapped at her console. "Your resistance is becoming counterproductive. The ship is interpreting your emotional repression as a form of erotic performance art." "I'm not repressing. I'm managing, compartmentalizing. Not everything needs to be glowy and breathable. The floor is currently composed of a mood-sensitive foam lattice," Vena offered. "You're literally sitting in your own denial." "I miss chairs." "You miss war," Lyra corrected. "I miss chairs." The silence after that hung for a moment too long. Even the ship seemed to hold its breath. Keenan stared at his cube. "Okay, maybe I miss a few other things." Vena sat beside him, uncharacteristically quiet. "Like." He rolled the cube between his fingers. "Structure, command. Orders that don't involve glowing pillows or psychic charades. Knowing where the edge is, you know." "We don't," Lyra said gently. "Tyrell don't draw lines that way. It's all gradients, shades, moods." "Sounds exhausting." "It's more vulnerable, but less lonely." The silence this time was softer. The ship, sensing the emotional lull, displayed a floating projection of an Earth sunset. Keenan sighed. "Now it's doing nostalgia bait. Great." "You liked that one," Vena said. "You showed it to us." "I did asterisk mean asterisk too. Intentional or not, the ship archived it. It's sweet." "It's manipulative." "That too." He finally bit into the cube. It exploded with the taste of blueberries and regret. Vena leaned closer. "You're more relaxed today." "Am not." "R2. You keep saying that like it means something." "It means you didn't flinch when I touched you just now." Keenan blinked. "You touched me." "See progress." "I might be developing nerve damage." "Or trust." He groaned and flopped backward onto the couch. The foam adjusted to cradle his spine with infuriating precision. "I swear if this ship tries to tuck me in again, I'm going to bite something." The wall deployed a comfort blanket. It had stars on it. Vena pulled it over his legs. "You're adorable when you threaten textile violence." Lyra stood. "I'm going to the neural chamber. The ship is ready for recalibration." Keenan cracked one eye open. "Recalibration of what?" "Emotional bandwidth. Our harmonics are beginning to destabilize." "That sounds concerning." "It is, but not urgent yet." Vena smiled. "Unless you start having synchronized dreams again, then it gets weird." "It's already asterisk weird." She patted his leg. "You haven't seen anything yet." Keenan fell asleep with the spoon tucked under his arm like a security blanket, and the ship lowered its lighting to mimic the twilight of his memory. In his dreams, he was running, not from something, but toward laughter. Toward a field of light where 2 voices called his name. When he woke up, Vena was next to him. She hadn't touched him, just watched, carefully, curiously, like he was a puzzle that might rearrange itself when no one was looking. She whispered, "You were smiling." He rubbed his face, must have been gas. Lura's voice came through the comm. The recalibration succeeded, but there's a new fluctuation. Keenan sat up. Fluctuation. Something is interfering with the ship's biosensor net. A presence, faint, external. Enemy ship, he asked, suddenly alert. Number not quite, it's more like a signature, residual, like someone tried to reach us, briefly. Vena tilted her head. Through the neural field. Yes, Keenan looked between them. Wait, you mean someone just knocked asterisk on the ship's brain? Metaphorically, Lura said, yes. Vena stood. Well, that's new. The ship pulsed once like a held breath. Keenan gripped his spoon tighter. I told you it was a weapon. Nobody disagreed. All right, let me get this straight, Keenan said, pacing with the authority of someone who had no idea what he was doing but wasn't about to admit it. You're telling me the ship just asterisk flirted with another consciousness. It wasn't flirtation, Lura replied, adjusting her neural interface band. It was more like a neurological ping, a knock at the door of the mind. A flirty knock, Vena added. Stop helping. The ship's AI manifested as a gentle breeze and the subtle rearrangement of light, which was its polite way of entering the conversation without declaring its presence like a dramatic opera ghost. Across the chamber, the central console emitted a soft pulse and displayed a single phrase, unknown entity detected. Signal was NON hostile. Neural signature resembles Earth origin. Keenan squinted. Earth origin? That can't be right. We're 3 sectors outside the last reported Earth outpost. Nothing from Earth gets this far except war stories and bad pop music. Perhaps someone was trying to contact Asterisk you, Lura said. I didn't forward my psychic mail. Did you ever have a neural splice installed during training? Keenan thought, no. But I did fall asleep in a bioscan chamber once. They might have tagged me for fun. You're a walking mystery, aren't you? Vena grinned, poking his shoulder. I'm a walking asterisk liability, he corrected. Same thing in most relationships, she said. Noted, if anyone asks, I've officially dated 2 aliens and a minor technical accident. The room responded with a faint musical giggle. That was the ship. The ship had an asterisk sense of humor now. Fantastic, just what Keenan needed, an emotionally attuned vehicle that found his sarcasm adorable. Lura turned back to the console. There's a data packet encoded in the signal. I'm attempting to isolate and decompress it. Decompress carefully, Keenan warned. Last time someone opened an alien file around me, we got a talking fungus that quoted Earth sitcoms. That fungus was wise, Vena said. It tried to marry me. Out of respect, the console flared. Lura leaned in. I have it, it's a message, compressed thought form, nonverbal, more emotion than language. Keenan rubbed his temples. Let me guess. You're going to need me to open it. Your brain is the closest match. Can't we just let the ship sniff it first? The ship dimmed the lights. Apparently not. Keenan sighed and stepped forward. All right. But if this turns into a romantic memory of my 4th grade teacher again, I'm deleting all my dreams manually. Lura connected the stream. In a blink, Keenan was no longer in the ship. He stood on a rooftop under an alien sky, 2 suns, both low, casting long golden shadows. Around him stretched a city that shimmered like it was half-remembered. Towers that moved slightly when you didn't look directly at them. Roads paved in memory. He turned. A figure waited. Human, maybe, tall, gender-ambiguous, wrapped in a robe made of shifting star maps. The face blurred when he tried to focus. Keenan stepped forward. Who are you? The figure didn't speak. It simply felt, and Keenan asterisk knew. He staggered back. He was still connected. He was asterisk part asterisk of it. Not by birth or biology, but by accident. Some exposure, some echo, something in the past that had embedded him in a network far stranger than he'd ever known. When he came back to himself, he was on the floor. Vena was fanning him with a data slate. You drooled a little, she said. It was charming. I saw someone, or something, a neural projection. They knew me. They weren't threatening. But they weren't exactly inviting either. Lura helped him sit up. Residual data in your cortex suggests partial integration with a quantum field lattice. It's like you brushed against a much larger consciousness. I've brushed against enemy generals, mad clones, and a guy named Dave who thought he was a toaster. This felt bigger. Vena perched beside him. So what now? Keenan stared at the spoon. He still hadn't returned to the galley. Now I hope we don't get another call. I'm bad with long-distance relationships. The ship pulsed. Update Phase 4 initiated. Emotional depth increasing. Caution advised. Emotional depth. Keenan asked, "What does that mean?" "It means we're entering the stage where shared memories may begin to overlap," Lyra said. "Overlap how?" "You may feel things we haven't told you, and vice versa." He sat up straighter. "Wait, you'll see my asterisk memories. Some, possibly, usually the ones closest to the surface." "That's not fair. I've been hiding those for asterisk years. I built entire asterisk compartments for them." Vena tapped her forehead. "Better start locking them up tighter." Keenan groaned. "This just keeps getting worse." "Or better," Lyra said gently. "The bloom doesn't only intensify feelings, it sharpens connection, strengthens what's already there. Even if what's there is panic and avoidance. Especially then." He stared at them both. These two aliens, sisters, born of a world that hummed emotions like a song, floating through the void in a living ship that thought romance was a firmware feature. He'd spent his life running from war, from connection, from himself. And here he was being serenaded by mood lighting and poked in the soul by sentient blankets. He sighed. "All right, fine, let's see what my brain's hiding. But I swear if one of you sees my 8th birthday clown trauma, I'm jumping out an airlock." Vena smiled. "You had a clown trauma. It involved a balloon animal and a sandwich. Don't ask." Lyra closed the console. "We won't dig unless invited." Keenan eyed them both. "You promise?" "We'll try," Vena said cheerfully. "But no promises, the ship gets curious." The lights dimmed again. Keenan looked up. "Don't you asterisk dare." A single rose petal drifted from the ceiling. Vena caught it. Too late. And the ship laughed, again. Keenan's sock was missing again, just one, the left one. It had vanished sometime between his nap and his third emotionally ambiguous cup of algae tea. "All right," he muttered, crawling under the moss bed for the 5th time. "I know you're in here, you cotton traitor. You were my favorite." The bed responded with a squish of indeterminate texture. Vena lounged across the lounge hammock tree, watching with the calm patience of someone who had long ago accepted chaos as her emotional baseline. "Have you considered the possibility that the sock ascended?" "Ascended. To a higher plane of warmth. Perhaps it became vapor, a spiritual sock." "I wore it for 7 years," Keenan grunted. "It's seen things. If it did ascend, it probably took half my trauma with it. Then it was a noble sacrifice." He gave up and sat cross-legged, barefoot, cradling a slightly wobbly cup. The ship had recently introduced aromatic mood infusions. His currently smelled like rain, old books, and passive-aggressive optimism. Lyra stepped into the chamber, trailed by a low-humming orb. She looked more focused than usual, which immediately made Keenan nervous. "All right," he said. "Who died, who's glowing, and why does that thing look like it wants to scan my eyebrows?" "No one is glowing," she replied. "Not yet. The ship has just recalibrated its memory lattice protocols. We're now entering Phase 5. Please tell me that's the one where I get a nap, and nobody reads my dreams." "No," Lyra said. "It's the phase where we share. Share like snacks or share like soul fragments." "Little of both." Keenan looked at Vena, who shrugged. "I brought cubes, some of them hum. You people keep offering me humming food like it's normal." "It is asterisk normal," Lyra said, "for us." "I miss chewing gum that didn't asterisk whisper back." The orb beeped and projected a gently rotating sphere of color. It pulsed softly, adjusting hues in response to each of them. Lyra nodded at it. "This is a resonance bridge. The ship synthesized it from our neural profiles. It allows limited sharing of thought experience without full cognitive merge." Keenan raised a hand, in English. "We each put one memory in. The orb mixes them, we all see the result. Like emotional soup." "Precisely. I hate soup. You'll like this one." Keenan gave the orb a deeply skeptical look. "If I put in a memory of my worst date, and you two drop in ancient alien mating rituals, I swear to the stars." "Too late," Vena said. "I already chose mine. Please let it be about food. It might asterisk start with food." Lyra touched the orb. A soft hum filled the room. Keenan reluctantly reached out and placed 2 fingers on the surface. It was warm. Slightly damp, smelled like popcorn, and then they were somewhere else, not quite a dream, not quite a memory. A composite. Keenan stood in a corridor that was asterisk almost like Earthfleet, but wrong. The walls shimmered with Tyrell textures, and the stars outside the viewport twisted into the shape of sound. He turned. Lyra stood near a console, younger. Her hands moved in quick, nervous patterns over the controls. Vena leaned on a nearby rail, tossing glowing seeds into a floating plant that kept belching out soft laughter. Keenan's own presence flickered in and out. Sometimes he was a child in an academy uniform, sometimes a soldier. Once disturbingly a toaster, Vena noticed. Ah, I added the humor filter, it adjusts memory tone. Good, Keenan said, because this toaster phase is giving me asterisk ideas. The scene shifted. They were in a field now. Lyra's memory, clearly, quiet, methodical, full of rhythm. There were instruments arranged in the dirt. Tyrell children moved in slow spirals, each one glowing faintly in response to the sun. Keenan felt her feeling, safety, control. The first time she understood harmony wasn't just about sound. It was asterisk trust. The field rippled into Keenan's memory. A training arena, earth gravity, rain falling hard on concrete. He was 17, muddy, bruised. Laughing as another cadet tackled him. Then the laugh cut out. Silence. The field went gray. Vena's hand on his arm brought him back. It's okay, she whispered. I didn't mean to share asterisk that one, Keenan muttered. You didn't, Lyra said, but it was close to the surface, the orb's curious. Well, it can be less asterisk curious. The memory dissolved. They returned to the present, each one blinking as the orb retracted and dimmed. For a long moment nobody spoke. Then Keenan said, all right, so your childhood was a glowing music garden. Mine was getting punched in the ribs until I could recite tactical equations. Good talk. Lyra met his eyes. It was more than that. Yeah, well, memory soup. Sometimes you get chunks. Vena passed him another humming cube. You okay? I'm fine, he said, then after a beat. I miss feeling like a stranger, it was simpler. You're not a stranger anymore, Vena said. Don't remind me. The ship beeped gently. Emotional integration AT 46%. Congratulations, you are officially something. Keenan rolled his eyes. Glad the ship's just as confused as I am. We're adapting, Lyra said, all of us. Adaptation implies a destination. Vena leaned back, hands behind her head. Maybe it's not about where we're going. Maybe it's just about letting the weirdness be weird. I'm surrounded by glowing mind readers who feed me musical cubes in a ship that thinks romance is an operating system. Weird is the default. Exactly. The lights dimmed, not to romantic levels, just enough to say, okay, time for quiet now. Keenan sighed, leaning against the moss couch. He glanced at his feet. The sock was back on the wrong foot. Of course it was. He smiled just a little, and the ship hummed its approval. Keenan woke up in a nest, not a bed, not a bunk, a literal nest, woven from luminous vines, half-warm moss, and what might have been a bathrobe, his own bathrobe. "Ship," he said, voice gravelly. "Did you build me a nest?" A soft chime answered. "Emotional stability insufficient. Creating security module. Please enjoy your nest." He sat up slowly, groaning. The vines adjusted around him, supportive and unnervingly affectionate. The nest gently offered him a protein cube. It was warm. It smelled like pancakes and trust issues. "Nope," he muttered, tossing it aside. A vine caught the cube and tucked it back under the moss like it was tucking in a sleepy child. He gave up and shuffled barefoot into the corridor. The ship had changed again. No surprise there. Every day it evolved a little more, like it couldn't decide whether it wanted to be a star cruiser or a reality show set. Today, the walls shimmered in iridescent pastels, and motivational phrases blinked faintly from corners. He passed one that said, "You are valid, even if you don't know why you're YELLING." He pointed at it, too real. He found Vena trying to program the beverage synthesizer. The synthesizer was resisting. They were both covered in what looked like sentient foam. She looked up and smiled. "Morning, or whatever time it is, temporal cycles are fake here." "You smell like citrus trauma," he said. "I asked for orange tea, I got enthusiasm." Keenan wiped foam off the console with a rag the ship handed him. "Where, Lyra?" "Neural Bay, she's been quiet this morning." "That's ominous." "It is. Also, she said she had a vision during sleep and didn't want to talk about it." Keenan paused. "Was I in it?" "She didn't say, but she did refer to you as the uninvited anchor with aggressively human emotions." "So, maybe." He grunted and tried to summon coffee from the dispenser. It gave him something green that hissed softly when touched. He pretended it was intentional and sipped anyway. Vena tilted her head, watching him. "You've been different since the merge." "Different how?" "More not panicking, less growling. Still emotionally constipated, but in a quieter way." "I've been emotionally constipated my entire adult life. It's part of my charm." "You also sighed in your sleep last night and muttered something about socks and redemption." He blinked. "Okay, now you're just making stuff up." "I really wish I was." The ship pinged. Lyra's voice came over the comms. "We have a visitor." Both of them froze. Keenan straightened. "Wait, a real one, as in external?" "Yes." Docking signature was weak, unannounced, but the ship allowed it. It recognized the neural code. Vena narrowed her eyes. "That's impossible. We're in isolation phase. No outside contact should be possible unless—" "Unless it's someone like me," Keenan said. They exchanged a glance, then ran. The docking bay was dimly lit, the air thicker than usual. The doors had sealed behind a small shuttle that definitely wasn't standard Earthfleet. It looked patched together, a hybrid of old tech and scavenged T-Rel plating. Keenan stepped forward. "Ship, open the bay." A soft hiss. The door slid open. The figure that stepped out wore a mismatched EVA suit, helmet dark. No insignia, no weapon drawn, then the helmet came off. Keenan blinked. "Marlowe." The man gave him a tired smile. "Hey, Holt." Vena looked between them. "You know this human." "Barely," Keenan muttered. "We served in the same outer campaign for like 2 weeks. Then he got reassigned to a science unit. Disappeared." "Disappeared," Marlowe said, stepping fully into the bay, "is a bit of an understatement. I kind of went native." Lyra appeared at the upper walkway, gaze unreadable. "You initiated neural contact 2 days ago." Marlowe nodded. "Didn't mean to. Your ship's lattice linked into my memory coil. Must have been residual from an old interface. I was tracking this vessel. Well, not tracking, more like following a feeling." "You followed a feeling across half the galaxy," Keenan said. "That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard." "It worked. Fair." The ship pinged again. A message blinked across the overhead panel. "Warning, neural field destabilizing. Emotional quotient surpassing safe limits. Prepare for Phase 6. Keenan groaned. "We just entered Phase 5. Vena took a step toward Marlowe. "What does this mean?" "I don't know," he said. "But something's happening, something big. I think you're the focal point." Keenan backed up. "Nope. I'm not a focal point. I'm a side character with spoon-related trauma and a long history of suppressing feelings. This is someone else's arc." Marlowe grinned. "Sorry, man, you've got protagonist energy now." "Can I return it?" "Like store credit." The lights dimmed, the floor pulsed. The ship emitted a sound suspiciously like a drum roll. Lyra sighed. "It's starting." "What's starting?" Keenan said. "The bonding crisis," she replied. "Usually it happens around this time." That sounds made up. It is, but it's happening anyway. Suddenly the room shifted. Everyone swayed. Colors bent. Keenan's breath caught as the entire ship's emotional field surged like a wave crashing over them all. He saw flashes, memories not his. Vena as a child, chasing light beetles through a starlit grove. Lyra building her first harmonic anchor, weeping when it collapsed. Marlowe alone in a nebula talking to an echo. Then his own memories flooded back battlefields, laughter and rain, the taste of hope, the burn of loss. He stumbled. Vena caught him. "Stay with us," she whispered. "We're all bleeding into each other now, it's okay." "No," he said. "It's not okay, but it's happening." Lyra steadied Marlowe, who looked dazed. "This ship, this bloom, it's not just biological anymore, it's becoming something else, bigger. Like a hive," Keenan muttered, "or a weird little family." Vena squeezed his hand. "That's not the worst thing." He looked at all of them. Aliens, old friends, sentient ships, an emotional storm swirling around a soldier who never wanted to feel again. He sighed. "Fine, let's ride it out." The ship pulsed once. Phase 6 accepted, good luck. Then it played a soft tune that sounded suspiciously like a lullaby and a marching anthem at the same time. Keenan groaned. "I'm going to cry and punch someone, and I don't know which will come first." Vena beamed. "You're adapting beautifully." And the ship, of course, giggled again. Marlowe was meditating upside down. He insisted it helped with neurological clarity, which Keenan personally believed was code for, "I like having blood rush to my brain so I can forget how weird this all is." Keenan walked past him on his way to the galley, pointed at the floating man and said, "Still not enlightened, huh?" "Still working on it," Marlowe replied, voice oddly serene for someone whose feet were tangled in ceiling vines. The galley lights flickered gently as Keenan entered. The ship had entered what it called reflective phase, which, so far, meant it wouldn't stop showing everyone's most awkward memories as looping holograms in the common areas. Keenan had already walked through at least 3 replays of Vena's unfortunate crash course in human dancing, one of Lyra trying to flirt using algebraic expressions, and worst of all, a loop of himself singing badly in the shower. "I was off-key asterisk on purpose," he told the ship. The ship responded by playing it again with added echo effects. Keenan accepted his fate and scavenged for breakfast. The food unit had recently been updated to respond to emotional intent, which was a terrible idea for someone as emotionally ambiguous as Keenan. He asked for toast and received something that looked like a waffle but tasted like mild disappointment and spicy forgiveness. Vena entered yawning with her hair trailing bioluminescent sparks. "You slept in," she said, grabbing a mug of spark tea. "I was having a lucid dream about socks." "Were they talking again?" "They formed a government." "Impressive." Keenan nodded. "I was their reluctant prophet." She sipped. "You've come a long way." "I used to be a serious soldier." "You're still serious?" "Not when my breakfast apologizes after each bite." The galley blinked purple in embarrassment. Lyra arrived next, holding a data prism and looking as if she'd already read 3 theses and mentally rewritten 2. "We're nearing convergence." Keenan raised a hand. "You can't just drop ominous phrases while I'm chewing." "The ship's bloom cycle is peaking. Our emotional harmonics are nearing full overlap. I estimate 12 hours before the final threshold." Translation: things are going to get much, much weirder. Marlowe floated in from the corridor, still upside down, smiling faintly. "Heard that." Keenan pointed at him. "I'd take you more seriously if you had shoes on." "Shoes block energy flow. Shoes block fungal infections." "Tomato fungus." Keenan looked at Lyra. "Is he always like this?" "Only since he fused with a spatial empathy grid," she said. "He claims it increased his aura width." "It did," Marlowe added, flipping upright and nearly knocking over a ceiling lamp. "I once comforted a meteor just by being near it." Keenan gave up and bit his sorry waffle. The ship pinged. A new symbol flickered across the wall. It resembled a spiral unfolding into a set of interlocked hearts. Vena squinted. "That's new." Lyra touched the panel. "It's a convergence marker. The ship believes we've achieved full pre-bond resonance." Keenan froze mid-chew. "Pre-bond? Is that like a loading screen for feelings?" "Kind of," Vena said. "It means the ship now recognizes our emotional entanglement as permanent." "Oh no. Oh yes. I didn't sign up for permanent entanglement. I barely signed up for morning tea." "The ship believes otherwise." The wall opened to reveal a small pedestal with a glowing crystal. Keenan groaned. "Please don't be symbolic." It's extremely symbolic, Lyra confirmed. Vena walked over and picked it up. It's humming in 3 frequencies. That's us, Marlowe said. I hum in C-sharp. Keenan's more of a confused a minor. I'm not resonating with asterisk anything asterisk, Keenan said. I'm resonating with coffee withdrawal. The ship disagrees, Lyra said. It believes you've passed all thresholds. Your emotional integration is complete. That's just because I stopped screaming in my sleep. It considers that growth. Keenan crossed his arms. So what now? The ship throws us a party. We all hold hands and become one big, glowing space family. Marlowe grinned. Close, it's preparing a ceremony. No, it's traditional. I am not putting on a ceremonial robe again. The last one tried to eat my arm. That was a miscommunication, Lyra said. It was trying to hug you. With its sleeves. It was very loving. I don't do loving sleeves. The ship dimmed the lights and released a fine mist that smelled like anticipation. Keenan threw up his hands. Fine, one weird ceremony, but if this ends with a neural tattoo or a shared soul playlist, I'm walking into space. The ceremony chamber was, unfortunately, exactly as dramatic as he feared. Soft music, floating lights, emotional resonance crystals, and a suspicious platform that looked like it wanted to propose. They stood together, Vena, Lyra, Marlowe, and Keenan, surrounded by pulsing energy and low, melodic tones that made his teeth buzz. A hologram formed in front of them, a stylized version of their combined memories swirling like smoke. The ship spoke directly into their thoughts. You have survived, you have shared, you have resonated. Kind of wish it wouldn't capitalize everything, Keenan whispered. You are a unit. You are a thread. You are the beginning of something strange and possibly important. That's vague, Vena said. That's foreshadowing. The hologram expanded, revealing 3 paths. Lyra stepped forward. These are directional possibilities. The ship is offering us a choice. Keenan looked at them. The first path shimmered with light, exploration, unknown stars. The second path pulsed with deep rhythm, conflict. A return to Earth space armed with what they'd learned. The third path didn't show anything, just silence and potential. Marlowe looked at Keenan. What do you think? Keenan stared at the third path. I think we take the one with no map. Because it's mysterious. Because I've been following maps my whole life. None of them got me here. The others nodded, the ship accepted. The lights flared, and the platform finally did propose, or maybe it was just calibrating the gravity. Either way, Keenan sighed. If this ends with a group hug, I'm charging the airlock. Vena took his hand, too late, and the ship naturally sang. Keenan stood in front of the ship's central control node, holding a wrench, a spoon, and what might have been a ceremonial sash. He wasn't entirely sure if he was about to fix something, make breakfast, or get married to a processor core. I've seen less confusing endings in time loops, he muttered. The ship pulsed. You look nice. I'm holding 3 unrelated objects. Still, Vena peeked around the corner, chewing something mildly glowing. Are you ready? No, but I'm also not panicking, so I assume that counts as progress. She walked in and adjusted the sash. That's crooked. I think the sash is sentient. Then you should have asked for consent before trying to wear it. Keenan sighed. I used to wake up in bunkers and eat dried protein bars while planning artillery strikes. Now my wardrobe is emotionally complex. You're adapting beautifully. Stop saying that. Lyra entered next, holding a new interface crystal. The ship's neural field has stabilized. The final convergence worked. No more phase surges. No more hallucinated family reunions. No more singing socks. I didn't say that. Some subroutines learned to enjoy Broadway. He gave the spoon a suspicious glance. I think this one's humming asterisk less me's. Marlowe appeared with a small satchel and a larger grin. Everyone packed. Because we are officially free to depart. The ship has completed the bloom. Quarantine is lifted. No more enforced emotional therapy through walls. Keenan raised an eyebrow. Is it weird I'll miss it? Vena leaned in. It's not weird. It means you're not emotionally constipated anymore. I'm emotionally asterisk aware, he corrected. Not explosive. Potato space tomato. Lyra smiled faintly. We could chart a course to somewhere predictable. Earth Outpost 17 is within range. No, Keenan said, let's not. Marlowe tossed him a data pad. I've got 3 vectors prepped. A science relay deep in the Helix belt, a cultural hub orbiting a singing comet, and a refueling station that may or may not be run by sentient vending machines. Option 3. You sure? Very. I want to argue with a vending machine about snacks. The ship beeped cheerfully. Destination accepted. Charging jump core, please secure your emotions. They all laughed. The corridor lights shimmered in blues and golds as the ship's systems began to power up. The vessel itself felt calmer. No more hormonal haze, no more spontaneous lighting shifts to romantic fog mode. Just a low, warm hum of quiet contentment. They gathered in the observation deck. The stars ahead looked a little brighter, or maybe Keenan just finally noticed them. Marlowe leaned against the wall. So, full disclosure, I never really expected to make it out of that nebula alive, let alone reconnect with people who don't try to sell my organs. Set your bar low, Keenan said. You'll always be pleasantly surprised. Vena reached over and took Keenan's hand. He didn't flinch. That alone felt like the galaxy's quietest miracle. You're calmer, she said. I'm still a mess. But functional mess. I think the spoon helped. She kissed his cheek. Everything helps, even spoons. Lyra watched them quietly, then walked to the console and placed her palm against it. Final log, Zyron Bloom cycle complete. Emotional resonance recalibrated. All individuals accounted for. Status, uncertain but hopeful. The ship responded with a soft melody, simple, grounding. No strange undertones, just peace. Keenan looked around the deck. You know, I hated every second of this at first. We noticed, Vena said. I was rude, defensive, probably said something offensive about your brain symmetry. Several times, Lyra confirmed. Marlowe raised his hand. You also punched a door because it glowed at you. It was mocking me. It blinked, in a mocking rhythm. Everyone nodded.